So here we have the Ihagee Dresden Exa. This is the original Exa, I think. I purchased this off of a well-known auction site, and it came with a lens. It was a super Lentar wide angle, 35mm f2.8. It was really good. Camera came in not ideal conditions, but it was pretty dirty, as you can see, and leatherette is peeling off in certain places. Some of the leather is also peeling off, and in general just kind of seemed like it'd been stored well, but just collected dust and general wear and tear. The viewfinder is really good. It was pretty much scratch free. Again, just general wear in terms of scratches on the metal parts, but the glass was very clean. The mirror was in pretty good condition as well. So I guess the plan for this video is just to see about taking apart as minimal disassembly as I can to get the camera as clean as possible. So I'm going to be taking off the rewind knob and the shutter cocking knob. So that's the rewind knob. It's just a set screw on the side that comes off. That pin is actually being held there by that knob, so be careful, it will fall into the body. You don't have to particularly care about the order of the knobs, they're both the same, so just keep them well. So here I'm going to take the top plate off of the sort of charging side. That screw is pretty loose, so when I assembled it, I put some Loctite just to make sure it doesn't come off later in the future. The gear train here is pretty simple, just brush it off. Mine didn't have caked on lube or anything, so I just brushed off the dust and applied a little bit of sewing machine oil. Be careful about that lever, that click mechanism. It needs to sit correctly when you reassemble the top plate, so it needs to mesh well with that number dial. So just take care of upon reassembly. So again, just dust it off. I cleaned the dial just so when you look at it, through the viewport, it's clear. This is just some hydrogen peroxide. I was worried it would bleach the lettering, but it was fine. It just makes the metal shine. And yeah, a little bit of sewing machine oil on that surface, just that there's like a little bearing surface. I applied some on the other gears, just a little bit of sewing machine oil. And here I'm trying to seat that click back into place. So just place the top plate back on. But again, remember to seat that click properly. Otherwise your film counting dial wouldn't count correctly. So here I'm just holding it down with a dentist tool. Trying to do a quick change. And screw it in. I already applied the Loctite And that's the top plate assembled. So here we can put the knob back in place and tighten the set screw. Again, try to make sure that click is properly set in place. And after you tighten it, verify the operation. It's always a good practice to, after each sort of assembly of a component, just verify the behavior. So here we're going to take off the rewind side, and there's not a lot of stuff beneath there, but again, I just wanted to clean that plate off. So I had to take that apart. Again, you can clean it on the body right here, but I put mine in a solution, just soapy water, and brushed it up. And there was some felt material that sort of embraced that lever, so I also dusted that off. So here's that pin that I mentioned that could fall in to the camera body. You can take it back and put it back in place. I applied some lubricant on the metal surfaces and just reassembled it. So next, I think I was just going to address the front part of the camera. So here I didn't take it apart because I'm, worried about getting that correct flange distance. So I just cleaned it off with the front plate on the camera. Just some hydrogen peroxide. And while cleaning it off, I actually did take off some of the dark material in the engraved letterings. So later in the clip, in the video, I show how I put that back. I just used some black paint, some black acrylic paint. So just clean off the rest of the body of the camera. So again, some peroxide. Careful with the peroxide because it can actually lift off a lot of the leather paint. For the rest of the video, I didn't show a lot of it, but yeah, I applied some contact cement to the peeling leather. So that part where it's peeling off the leather, I applied some contact cement and laid that back flat. So here is just a little bit, ever so small amount of contact cement, and then just let it dry out and then apply pressure. Sometimes I like to blow it with a puffer. And then for the part that's peeling off the camera body, I try my best to clean the old glue out with like an acetone cotton swab, and then apply some contact cement on both surfaces. Again, doing the same thing to let the contact cement dry off and then apply pressure. So one critical thing that tends to get forgotten, I think, is cleaning inside the camera. So usually there's like dust and grit that gets in here. You want to just get rid of all of that because it can get on the metal surfaces where the film is contacting, and that could scratch your emulsion. So just clean in here, try to catch as much of the dust and grit in the Q-tip. And finally, just gonna try to dust off the viewfinder, waist level viewfinder. So here it was pretty clean. So I just used a brush and dusted off the grit and dirt and a Q-tip to just, polish it off with some peroxide. There was no paint or anything to be worried about. And here we have it. That's the final kind of presentation. It's pretty clean now, and I'm just showing the black paint that I used to repair the lettering. The camera is really clean. I took it out for a spin, put some Kentmere 100 in it, and took some pictures, and we can see them coming up. There you have it. That's the Ihagee Dresden Exa.